That carton of eggs in your fridge tells you almost nothing about what you're eating. The great value eggs you've been buying since forever? Hens packed in cages so tight they can't spread their wings. Fed corn and soy designed for maximum production. The Eggland's Best you switched to for better nutrition. Engineered sameness where every yolk is identical because feed additives control the color. That happy egg you grab thinking it's humane? Limited outdoor access? That's technically free range, but nothing like pasture. I spent 2 weeks tracking down where America's eggs actually come from, and what I found will change how you shop. In the next 15 minutes, I'm walking you through exactly which 9 egg brands represent the spectrum from industrial to traditional. The ones using confinement and commodity feed, the ones engineering nutrition through additives, and the real options where hens produce delicious eggs. Subscribe because by the end, you'll know exactly which cartons deliver bland, watery eggs, and which ones are worth the money. Let's start with the villains of the egg section. Great value eggs from Walmart are the baseline for industrial egg production. These are eggs from hens kept in battery cages or crowded cage-free barns, fed commodity corn and soy, producing pale yolks that barely have color. This is egg production optimized for cost per dozen, not for hen welfare or egg quality. The hens live in confinement, either in battery cages where they can't spread their wings, or in cage-free barns where thousands of hens share indoor space with no outdoor access. The feed is commodity grain. Whatever corn and soy is cheapest that season. Everything about the system is designed for efficiency. Crack a great value egg next to a pasture-raised egg and the difference is obvious. The yolk is pale yellow and the white spreads thin across the pan. When you cook it, the egg tastes like almost nothing. Just vague egg flavor with no richness or depth. That blandness comes directly from the hen's diet. Corn and soy create bland eggs. Grass, bugs, and diverse plants create flavorful eggs. Fresh eggs from healthy hens have thick, gel-like whites that hold their shape. Great value eggs often have thin, watery whites that spread across the pan. When you scramble these eggs, they're thin and runny even after cooking. There's no substance. Great value eggs are cheap because every aspect of production has been optimized for cost. If you're making scrambled eggs where you can actually taste the egg, these will disappoint. If you're baking where eggs are just binder, these work fine. Eggland's Best eggs are marketed as nutritionally superior, more omega-3s, more vitamin E, less saturated fat. That nutritional profile is real, but it's achieved through feed additives, not through better hen welfare. The hens are fed a proprietary diet that includes fish oil, algae, and vitamin supplements. You're getting engineered nutrition, not nutrition from hens eating their natural diet. Eggland's Best doesn't own hens or farms. They license their feed formula to contract farmers who must feed it to their hens. That feed creates eggs with specific nutritional profiles that can be marketed as superior. The hens are still confined in cages or crowded barns. The only difference is what they're eating. The yolks are medium yellow, darker than great value but nowhere near orange. When you cook these eggs, they taste like standard eggs with maybe a hint more richness. The feed additives improve nutrition on paper, but they don't create the complex flavor that comes from hens eating bugs and grass. Every Eggland's Best egg has the same medium yellow yolk. That consistency comes from feed formulation that controls exactly how much pigment the hens consume. Natural eggs vary in yolk color because hens eating diverse diets get varying amounts of pigments. Eggland's Best yolks are identical because the feed is standardized. You're paying nearly double great value for engineered nutrition and marketing. If you want more omega-3s on paper, these deliver. If you want eggs that taste rich and flavorful, you'll be disappointed. Kirkland Signature cage-free eggs from Costco are exactly what the label says, cage-free. The hens aren't in cages, but cage-free doesn't mean what most people think. These hens live in massive barns with thousands of other hens, no outdoor access, and commodity feed. Cage-free is better than caged, but it's still industrial confinement. thousands of hens share indoor space with perches and nesting boxes, which is better than cages. But the density is still high, the air quality is poor from ammonia buildup, and the hens never see sunlight or touch grass. Cage-free is an improvement over battery cages, but it's not the pastoral image the term suggests. The yolks are pale yellow, maybe slightly darker than great value. When you fry these eggs, they taste like standard eggs, not offensive, not exciting. The whites are thin and watery. If you're making an omelet, these eggs will work but won't impress. Cage-free regulations address housing, not diet. Kirkland's cage-free hens eat the same corn and soy as caged hens. The only difference is that the hens can move around inside a barn instead of being locked in cages. That movement doesn't change what they eat, which means it doesn't change how the eggs taste. You're paying slightly more than great value for the welfare improvement of cage-free housing, but don't expect the eggs to taste dramatically different. The flavor improvement is minimal because the diet is still industrial. Happy Egg Co. Eggs are marketed as free-range with outdoor access. The hens do have outdoor access, but outdoor access is a technical term that doesn't mean what you think. The hens live in barns with small doors that open to outdoor areas. Many hens never go outside because they're crowded near the doors, or because the outdoor space is limited and unappealing. The free-range standard requires outdoor access, but it doesn't specify how much space or what quality. Happy Egg provides outdoor areas, but those areas are often bare dirt or gravel, not pasture with grass and bugs. The hens can technically go outside, but the outdoor environment doesn't provide the diverse diet that creates nutritious eggs. The yolks are slightly darker than cage-free eggs, more golden yellow than pale yellow. When you cook these eggs, you can taste a hint of richness that's missing from cheaper eggs. The whites are slightly thicker. If you're making fried eggs where you can see and taste the yolk, these are noticeably better than Great Value or Kirkland. But they're still not rich or flavorful compared to true pasture-raised eggs. Even with outdoor access, the hen's primary diet is commercial feed. They might eat some grass or bugs if they go outside, but most of their nutrition comes from the feed provided. You're seeing partial outdoor access reflected in partial flavor improvement. You're paying about double Great Value for free-range certification and the promise of outdoor access. The taste improvement is real, but modest. The price premium buys you moderate improvement, not transformation. Vital Farms exploded in popularity over the last 5 years. They went from a niche brand in natural food stores to a mainstream option in every major grocery chain. That growth came from consumers learning about pasture-raised eggs, and Vital Farms being the most accessible option. Pasture-raised means the hens live outdoors on pasture with at least 108 square feet per hen. That's dramatically more space than cage-free or free-range. The hens eat grass, bugs, and whatever they find while foraging. This is real outdoor living, not just outdoor access. They scaled pasture-raised production to national distribution, working with over 200 small farms across the country, each following Vital Farms standards for pasture access and hen welfare. You're getting pasture-raised eggs at grocery store convenience. But here's what changed. Vital Farms went public in 2020, and the pressure to maintain growth and profits has started affecting quality. The feed management has become more aggressive to ensure consistency. The yolk color is now more uniform than it used to be, which suggests more standardized supplemental feed and less variation from actual foraging. Longtime Vital Farms customers have noticed the eggs don't taste quite as rich as they did a few years ago. The taste is still dramatically better than industrial eggs. The yolks are orange, not yellow-orange. When you crack these eggs, the yolk sits high and firm. The white is thick and gel-like. When you fry these eggs, the yolk tastes rich and creamy, almost buttery. The flavor is complex, not one-dimensional. You can taste the difference between these and industrial eggs in a single bite. If you're making fried eggs or soft-boiled eggs where the yolk is the star, Vital Farms eggs are still in a different category than Great Value. Vital Farms costs 3 to 4 times more than Great Value. That's significant. But the taste difference justifies it if you're eating eggs where flavor matters. Vital Farms delivers rich, complex flavor that cheap eggs can't match. For baking where eggs are just structure, the price premium isn't worth it. Pete and Jerry's eggs are pasture-raised from a network of small family farms in New England and the Mid-Atlantic. The hens live on pasture with outdoor access year-round, eating grass, bugs, and supplemental feed. This is regional production that maintains closer relationships between farms and the brand. Pete and Jerry's works with about 130 family farms, most within a few hundred miles of their packing facility in New Hampshire. That regional focus allows tighter quality control and fresher eggs. The eggs don't travel across the country, they're distributed regionally. The yolks range from golden orange to deep red orange, depending on the farm and season. When you cook these eggs, the flavor is rich and complex. Creamy yolks, substantial whites. Some eggs taste slightly more intense than others because different farms have different pastures and different supplemental feeds. That variation is proof of real farm diversity, not standardized production. Winter eggs are lighter in color because grass is dormant and hens eat more supplemental feed. Summer eggs are darker because grass is abundant and hens forage more. That seasonal change is what real eggs do when hens live outdoors. Industrial eggs look the same year-round because feed is standardized. Pete and Jerry's eggs change with the seasons, which means the flavor changes too. Pete and Jerry's costs slightly less than Vital Farms in some regions. The taste is comparable to Vital Farms, dramatically better than industrial eggs, rich and flavorful. If you're in the Northeast or Mid-Atlantic and you see Pete and Jerry's, this is excellent value for pasture-raised eggs. Enough with the confinement and commodity feed. Subscribe and stick around because the next 3 egg options prove that traditional egg production still exists. You just need to know where to look. Handsome Brook Farm eggs land at number 3 because they've maintained quality and transparency while scaling. They're what Vital Farms used to be before going public. The hens live on pasture with at least 108 square feet per hen, eating grass, bugs, and supplemental organic feed. The company publishes information about their farms and practices, which is rare in the egg industry. The organic certification adds another layer. The hens eat organic feed, which means no synthetic pesticides or GMOs. The pasture is managed organically. You're getting pasture-raised eggs from hens eating organic feed and living on organic pasture. The yolks are consistently dark orange, deeper than Vital Farms, more consistent than Pete and Jerry's. When you cook these eggs, the flavor is intensely rich with no off notes. Some pasture-raised eggs can taste slightly grassy or earthy. Handsome Brook eggs taste clean and rich. The organic feed and pasture create flavor that's complex but not funky. That consistency comes from the combination of pasture access and organic feed management. The hens eat diverse diets from foraging, but the organic feed ensures baseline nutrition and color. You won't get the dramatic variation of farmers' market eggs, but you also won't get the artificial uniformity of Eggland's Best. Handsome Brook focuses on regional distribution where possible, which means fresher eggs. The eggs don't sit in warehouses for weeks before reaching stores. That freshness shows in the whites, thick and gel-like, not watery. Handsome Brook costs the same as Vital Farms. The taste is comparable. Both are dramatically better than industrial eggs. The choice comes down to availability and whether you value organic certification. Local pastured eggs from farmers' markets or farm stands are where you see real variation. These are eggs from small flocks living on pasture, eating whatever they find, with minimal supplemental feed. The yolks vary from light orange to deep red orange depending on season and what the hens are eating. The seasonal variation is dramatic. Spring and summer eggs have dark orange yolks because grass is lush and bugs are abundant. Fall eggs are slightly lighter as grass slows down. Winter eggs are much lighter because grass is dormant and hens rely more on supplemental feed. That variation is what real eggs do when hens live outdoors year-round. Summer eggs are incredible. Deep orange yolks that taste rich, creamy, almost sweet. The flavor is so intense that you can eat these eggs with just salt and be satisfied. Winter eggs are lighter in color and milder in flavor, but still better than industrial eggs. Industrial eggs taste the same in January and July because everything is controlled. Local eggs taste different because the hen's diet changes with the seasons. Local eggs are often sold within days of being laid. The whites are thick and gel-like, holding their shape when cracked. The yolks sit high and firm. Industrial eggs have thin whites because they're weeks old by the time you buy them. When you fry a fresh local egg, the white stays compact instead of spreading across the pan. If you've only ever eaten industrial eggs, your first local pastured egg will be a revelation. The yolk tastes like butter. The white has substance. This is what eggs taste like when hens eat their natural diet. Local eggs cost about the same as Vital Farms or Handsome Brook. The taste is comparable or better, especially in summer. The challenge is availability. You need to find a farmer's market or farm stand. But if you can find local eggs, they're worth seeking out. Backyard eggs are eggs from truly local farms where you can see the hens are the gold standard. These are eggs from small flocks living on pasture, foraging for most of their food with minimal supplemental feed. The hens behave like chickens, scratching, foraging, dust bathing, roosting in trees. This is how eggs were produced for thousands of years before industrialization. Hens eating grass, bugs, seeds, and kitchen scraps produce eggs with dark orange yolks, thick whites, and rich flavor. The nutrition is natural: omega-3s from bugs, vitamins from grass, minerals from diverse foraging. You're getting eggs from hens eating their evolutionary diet. Backyard eggs in summer have yolks so orange, they're almost red. When you crack these eggs, the yolk is firm and sits high. When you cook them, the yolk tastes intensely rich, creamy, buttery, with complex flavor that lingers. The white is thick and substantial, not watery. If you fry these eggs, the yolk is so rich you don't need butter. If you soft boil them, the yolk is like custard. Summer eggs are incredible. Dark yolks, thick whites, rich flavor. Winter eggs are lighter and less rich because hens can't forage as much. That seasonal change is what real eggs do. Industrial eggs taste the same year-round because everything is controlled. Real eggs reflect the seasons. Backyard hens or small farm hens live like chickens. They scratch in dirt, chase bugs, take dust baths, perch in trees, and establish pecking orders. That natural behavior creates healthier hens, which create better eggs. The connection between hen welfare and egg quality is direct. Happy, healthy hens eating diverse diets produce eggs that taste dramatically better. Backyard eggs are often cheaper than store-bought pasture-raised eggs. The taste is equal to or better than Vital Farms or Handsome Brook. The challenge is finding them. You need a neighbor with chickens or a small farm that sells directly. But if you can find backyard eggs, they're the best value and the best flavor. Traditional eggs come from hens living outdoors, foraging for diverse food, and behaving like chickens. And they taste dramatically richer and more complex than industrial eggs. Industrial eggs produce pale yolks and bland flavor. Your choice depends on how you're using the eggs. If you're baking, cheap eggs work fine. If you're actually tasting the eggs, spend the money on pasture-raised. The flavor difference is real, dramatic, and worth it. Hit subscribe for more food truth that exposes what's really behind the labels. Drop a comment about which of these 9 egg brands you've been buying. I'm guessing most of you have been choosing based on price without realizing how much flavor you're missing. Keep your standards high and your eggs actually from chickens living like chickens.